This is the MeatEater podcast coming at you shirtless, severely bug-bitten, and in my case, underwearless.
We hunt the MeatEater podcast.
You can't predict anything.
The MeatEater podcast is brought to you by First Lite. Whether you're checking trail cams, hanging deer stands, or scouting for elk, First Lite has performance apparel to support every hunter in every environment. Check it out at firstlite.com. FIRSTLITE.com.
You know what was humiliating for Randall?
What? Oh.
You might as well turn the machine on, Phil.
Oh, it's been on, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, get ready for a lot of that this episode.
I'm going to start off by telling everybody I'm dying.
Loogie bucket?
What's that?
Need a loogie bucket?
No, you know what? I can't work up any lugs.
Oh.
Even when I work one up, like, watch.
You don't have pneumonia.
Oh, here we go.
Right?
Jesus. What are we doing?
God.
You'll know you're getting better when it starts
I'm not
loosening up.
contagious. Listen, even when I work one up, it's like I'm drawing it up from my balls, man. It's like coming from deep down, you know.
I just want the suits at MeatEater to know when we're all out at work, Steve wasn't contagious. Like, we got sick somehow else.
Listen, man, it's not my fault. I told everybody I'm sick. I got him over here.
I don't think it's your
Wanted to
fault
have a
that you're
turkey
sick,
calling
but if we
contest.
get sick, it'll be your fault.
It's tough shit, dude. Listen, anyways, I'm pulling that phlegm up from my nuts. I can't.
I don't
But
think that's phlegm.
But it hangs up. It hangs up around my sternum. I can't get it up.
Getting old. You just don't have the strength you used to have.
We're gonna make a pill for that. Blue pills for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the loogie bucket. There's nothing. It's that if you gave me a loogie bucket, it's a dry bucket.
Phil, do we want to start this over, or we're good?
Oh, I think we're good.
They do have medicine for that.
I was gonna say what's humiliating for Randall, as much as he's like a gun nut and everything. What kind of gun you making right now?
It's a. I'm converting a HK USC to UMP. Yeah.
You don't even
It's
know what the hell that means. You don't even know what the hell that means.
Well, I hope it's.
I'm going to get out in front of this. It's not a flintlock.
What was humiliating for Randall is Randall trying to shoot a flintlock. He can't get used to the fact you got to wait a second.
Most can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I if you're going to shoot a flintlock for the first time, I highly recommend you do it while being filmed by two people with Steve looking over your shoulder. It just makes it for a really nice experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for people to get over the little explosion in their face.
Corinne, you can sit in the chair.
Yeah,
No, we're sorry.
we're going.
I need you to fill out the frame because right now Seth and Cal look lonely over there.
Are you saying Randall wouldn't have made it as a mountain man?
Jesus.
He'd have been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see leaving that day, other than being totally humiliated, I could see how it would be interesting to like get used to that and sort of train that into your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I had access to one and a little bit of time, it'd be fun to get better at it. But yeah, it threw me for a loop.
It's key to have your system dialed where as soon as you pull the trigger, the thing's going off.
Yeah.
You don't want a hang fire.
The first two shots, I didn't even need to look at the target. I said this rifle was pointing in a completely different direction by the time it went off.
Yeah.
So
Chili, how many balls?
I got some stuff to share. You guys want to try something interesting?
sure.
Yep.
There's these dudes I know. There's these dudes I know up at they're in Cake, Alaska, and they make you ever hear sagebrush dry? You know that dry bag I have, sagebrush dry bag. They make a really nice rubberized, like a submersible dry bag, like a dry bag.
Yeah.
Anyways, they sent me. I've bought bags from them, and they sent me that's black seaweed they make.
Oh.
Try that.
Heck yeah.
And this is sockeye salmon they make, and dry bags.
So you just eat it.
Yeah, try it out. It's good. It's interesting. I'm gonna get into that. You know what we were doing that I hadn't done before?
It smells like fat.
Yeah. Corinne would get a kick out of this because it's kind of Chinese, you know.
Is it? Does it have to do with
is it
sea
Chinese?
cucumbers?
I haven't told you
Say
that.
that.
Cal, you want some?
Cooking up the just like taking the kelp. Just grab kelp
Yep.
out of the ocean.
Yep.
Were you there when we were doing this, Seth?
Salty.
But just taking kelp out of the ocean,
Oh yeah.
cutting it like noodles.
No, I wasn't there. But I don't think.
It's the easiest thing in the world, dude. You take kelp out of it. Just
The
pull
tube part.
No, the
The
leaves.
leaves.
Just you find them, whatever, floating around. My kids are always dragging them, boating them. I was yelling at them about it.
Yeah,
Just
I'm not
cut
a fan of that.
Cut it into noodles, and just steam them and put butter and salt on it. Damn, that is good, man. It's like ridiculous. You don't need to bring any kind of vegetables up there.
This is good.
Do you like that seaweed?
I don't.
Come on, guys.
I think it's good.
It's delicious.
Hey, Corinne, I'm sorry. I'm saying this with the most love I can
Don't
muster.
turn to the mic.
Show up on time.
You need, even when you think you're close to the mic, you're never close enough to the microphone.
look.
Yeah.
Wow, man,
Here,
that's
I'm getting close and I'm chewing with my mouth
I can
open.
feel the love.
it's like from a producer. I mean, like producer to producer. You know, that's a real hit.
Who's got a knife? Pry this stuff out of here.
Oh, there.
Oh, don't use that. God knows where it's been.
So carry the good folks up.
I got it. I got it.
Healthy stuff.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It's delicious and it's like it's purple.
See, when I retire, I used to think that you don't like it chili.
I feel like I'm
Not a
digging
fan
into
of
a
it.
I mean,
pig
it's
in
not
the
guys
candy
don't
ass.
know
house
what-
of
not-
Levi Garrett here. It's not
A little
disgusting.
dry
I just,
for Levi.
No, it's not disgusting, but it's like I used to think when I retire and move
Top
up to
this-
my shack, I was like,
yeah, Brody, that's
all
the way
I
to
need
do
is
it.
like butter and gas and vegetables, but now I don't even need vegetables.
No,
I just
no.
need gas and butter.
It kind of
It
is it
reminds
just
me
me
of-
or does it taste like fat? Like a raw fat.
Look at what Brody's making.
I wonder
Well,
if it's the
garnish.
salt, the sodium,
reminds me of
and that
Red Man.
sea flavor that has like a little bit of
I don't
like
know.
bacon fat kind of flavor.
Corey, can you come into a mic here and tell everybody what's going on now? What your problem is?
What's your problem, Corey?
Well, I don't think I have a problem.
You do. You got to have it be that now the northern people get beat by the southern people at turkey calling.
Oh. Well, there's a lot more enthusiasm coming out of the South. I'll tell you that much. We got a turkey calling contest coming, and it's
That's
my
a
job to
challenge.
coordinate all these videos for this contest. And all three of our Southern participants, they were done weeks ago.
Because
Hell yeah.
they get excited about this kind of stuff.
And
Do you
it's
want
already
some sandwich?
spring.
Well,
down there.
that's true. I mean, we're
That's a
still
good point too.
Yeah.
It's snowing out here right now.
Yeah, you could be ice fishing if you were risking it, or skiing, but we're not turkey hunting yet.
No, and then
Barely
the Southerners.
thinking
We're a
So
month
are you
out.
going to film this contest on that on your phone, or are you just using Phil's camera here?
No, I'll use it.
Okay,
It's
go ahead and turn it
also
on.
completely pointless to
How
even
long-
look for turkeys right now.
How long can mine be?
I mean, there's 3 rounds. Make them
Just it's
15
fine.
seconds each. 10
No.
seconds.
This is a way long. I'm only doing one round.
But you got to do a little intro. Like, here's round 1,
Okay.
turkey calling sequence. Round 2,
It's not like that though.
I can cut it up.
Okay.
Corey's just trying to do his job over here.
Because here's my complaint about the annual turkey calling contest. Is my complaint about the turkey calling contest is that it's set up for Southerners to win. Do you know what I mean? Why don't you have
No.
a contest who can talk the most like Abe Lincoln?
Wow.
There's something about that. Yo, that like lends itself to turkey calling.
We're better at spot and stalking. That's
It's like there's like the Southerners are always super good at turkey calling, and then you gotta have then a Northerner guys will play against them, and he's not gonna win.
We don't have the right twang.
So maybe
No.
we should have an
And
elk
it's
calling
just like
contest.
there's so much more. I mean, like life in the North is it's more complicated. There's more going on, and you can't just sit back and luxuriate
Wow.
in calling turkeys all
Those
the time.
Southerners are born
Wow.
with a call in their mouth.
And they don't have to worry about any kind of bad weather. Do you know what I mean? Like here, you gotta be on your game, man. Ice, cold.
Hurricanes, tornadoes.
That doesn't count.
No,
Wolves
they
and
call
grizzly bears?
No, they call turkeys right through those hurricanes. They just sit on their porch like calling turkeys, and we're like, you can't go out on your porch a lot of the times a year here.
Too dangerous.
It's too dangerous.
What porch?
You freeze to death. A bear will get you.
Under the snow.
So there's down there, yip.
And with that,
nothing to do. I view it. You know, and thinking about this, Corey. So here's round one. And thinking about this, I want to set the mood. Here, hold on a minute.
Don't be playing turkey videos on your computer here.
Right. Oh, I need to do another thing.
One of the best movies ever.
I'm playing Civil War, to set the north-south thing. No, what I was going to do, because I can't beat those guys on all their crazy sounds. But here's what I was thinking this morning. I was sitting there thinking about this. And so I started listening to, why don't we compare it to what turkeys sound like? Ready? Watch. Here's a real turkey. You guys know Jay Scott?
Jay Scott Outdoors.
Okay, here, Jay Scott. Here's a real turkey. You can see the turkey on here. Okay.
Raspy.
Round one. Huh? Here's a real turkey. Here's a Yankee. Here's a real turkey. Yankee. Now, if that's not phenomenal turkey calling, I don't know what is.
3 minutes and 30 seconds. That was good. Cal, you ready?
Yep.
Oh, Cal's going right now?
Good night.
Bam, thank you, ma'am.
Diaphragm selection is really important. So you want to get the one that has the least amount of coffee cup residue and seeds and stuff. And you got to suck.
Hey, where's that pack?
Off
Where's
there.
that pack of diaphragms?
I use all three of them.
At once? He just stacks them in there.
That's a gobble.
Thank you.
Are you going right now, Seth?
Boom.
No, I'm not part of it.
You're not part of it. He'd probably win. He should be part of it. He might beat the Southerners.
I know, I'm pretty sure a lot of these guys outdo everybody else.
not me.
Okay, ready for
Fine
round
with
two?
that.
Yeah, I need my, but did you really use all those?
I did.
But he's healthy. I'd be worried about the inverse of that transaction.
Round
But
two is a shot gobble.
What do you mean?
What's your best shot gobble? Everybody else down south is doing an owl hoot.
Oh, I didn't know that's what we were doing.
Well, there's
Do your Blue Jay Crow call.
I wish I had it with me. If I had it with me.
right in front of you.
Well, no. That's not
Oh.
my Blue Jay
Oh.
call. I don't have it with me. I didn't know that's what I needed.
It was in the email.
I know, but
He already said he can't see it's a side effect of his
Yeah,
illness.
let's cough. That would be good. Or you got a car door you could slam real quick.
Yeah, you should go out in the parking lot.
I could
What's
do
that?
You should go out in the parking lot and slam the car door.
yeah, or we'll go like this. No, that's not.
Or just go.
Here, we'll try
Just make
this.
some other.
That might make him gobble. I don't know.
Try owl hoot.
Oh, like no, I can't do that right now.
Phil, are we rolling?
This is so good.
Clearing a loogie might make him shot gobble.
What's that?
Clearing a loogie might make him shot gobble.
It'd be There you go.
Nailed it.
Where are we?
Okay, now your best gobble.
Oh, I can't do a gobble.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Sorry.
That was great.
yeah. Or as Robert,
Yeah,
I like
that
how
was
Robert Abernathy does. He goes, pow.
Ready, Cal?
Doesn't anybody like?
Hold on, Cal. You're gonna have to do that again.
No. Was that good, huh?
Wow.
Yeah.
You do one,
You
Seth.
just need to extend you.
Yeah, what man?
Wow.
Randall, why do you hate turkeys, man?
I don't hate them. I just
Oh, hold on a
Chris
second.
says you hate them.
Yeah. Okay. I think.
Well, the South is doomed again.
Please, I'd like to ask everyone to direct their attention to the television, if you wouldn't mind, just for a second here.
Sure.
Oh yeah, there he is, the real deal.
The face says it all. So Corey filmed, this is from MeatEater Radio Live a couple of months ago when Connor Smith, who works at our store, who's Alyssa Smith's son as well, brought in his pet turkey, Brogan. And you had a comment about him. You were like, he's got hollow bones. He's nothing like me.
Yeah.
For the audio listeners, that was a clip from an old Radio Live episode when we brought in the turkey, and Randall was staring into its eyes like he was looking at the devil himself.
We just don't have anything in common.
Why? Yeah. Why do you feel that you won't hunt turkeys, Randall?
Oh, I'd love to hunt turkeys.
Oh, okay. How have you not gotten around to it? Because you're a spring bear hunter?
Yeah, I like to save up my time for spring bear. And yeah, I don't know. I just never really figured it out.
You ever see a turkey walking around when you're spring bear hunting?
Yep. And I run after them. I've traced a couple turkeys up a hill when they cross the road, but
trying to shoot at them.
The idea is
that's the general idea.
You're supposed to call them in.
Yeah, no, I just haven't taken that step yet.
Okay.
Maybe if you got me out there,
so you would go.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have a little turkey hunt. Put a turkey in the freezer. I like eating cows' turkeys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the greatest thing in the world, man.
Yeah, I'm eager to feel that joy for myself one day. But yeah.
You'll never want to hunt bears again.
That's what I found. I found that over the years, my spring bear enthusiasms declined in favor of turkeys.
I could see that.
You know what the thing about turkey hunting you can picture too is you can picture that you'd be hunting turkeys like as an old ass man.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling my wife, I was like, after we retire, I was like, listen, I'll make a deal with you. We'll spend half the time doing just what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Half the time doing just what I want to do. 50-50 split. And when we're visiting our kids, it won't count against either of our time. And she still won't accept the deal.
How does she want to split it?
Because she knows that my time is turkey hunting. She's like, no, I'm not taking that deal. I'm like, why in the world will someone not take that deal? What's a better deal than that?
Yeah.
Like, picture that. Half the time you can do whatever you want to do. And I won't say shit.
I'd take that right now.
I'd be like, oh, yeah, that sounds fun. That's what I'd say.
Just what do you think?
Sounds like a great time.
What would you be doing on her days?
I don't know. Probably a variety of things.
Mm-hmm.
She won't take it. Because I want to have a camper, and we're going to live in the camper, and we're going to start in March in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to, every year, we're going to head north, and we'll swing to the northeast, we'll swing west, we'll swing whatever, and it'll just be like on repeat every year. We'll go to laundromats and do our clothes.
Eat turkey every night.
Eat turkey. Mm-hmm. We'll go to like internet cafes and email our kids. And that's how we're going to spend our...
You'll have the deep fat fryer on a trailer behind the thing so it doesn't stink things up.
Seth, you're headed out turkey hunting?
Yeah, Monday. Heading to Florida.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that.
So we're going to we're hunting some private down there. We're going to a guy that he has bought artwork for my wife, Kelsey, in the past, and he's been inviting us to go down there and hunt turkeys for like the last few years. And this year we decided to go take them up on the offer. But kind of in some brainstorming of trying to collect some assets around this new turkey vest, First Lite decided to film the deal. So,
are you gonna let your wife have first shot?
Yeah, I always do.
Are you hunting south of the Osceola line, or is it north?
Yeah.
You know what I was wrong about?
It's pretty high.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's like I used to somehow have in my head, and I feel like I've misled people on this. Is I used to think it was like the north end of Okeechobee south, but it's everything except the Panhandle and those counties that are up against Georgia and Alabama.
Oh yeah, I thought it was like the southern half of Florida.
No, man, it's like you go like 1 or 2 counties deep out of the Panhandle is the easterns, and then you go like 1 or 2 counties down deep out of Georgia and Alabama, and it's all Osceolas.
South of Gainesville, maybe.
That might be a good way of putting it. But it's not a perfect line. But yeah, basically, be like once you're down in the peninsula, it's Osceola turkeys. At the end of the show, so we're doing Jordan's piece, Corinne.
Yeah, we are. It's out on this feed Tuesday, March 25th. Tomorrow.
Oh, but it's not just tacked onto this.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a
So
bonus drop.
Jordan Sillers, who joins us now and then on the podcast here and writes up for the website, he's got a tomorrow, I guess. If you're listening on the day this comes out, tomorrow, Jordan has this crazy story he's been reporting on. It'll be like a special drop podcast episode about a
true crime.
Yeah, about a murder or not. It's a wild story. A turkey hunter in Virginia. This is a 20-year-old cold case. A turkey hunter in Virginia. Shot in the back. At daybreak. Turkey hunting. And you wonder, like, well, how many people could have been in the woods that day?
I don't want to give too much away, but was he shot with a shotgun?
Nope, shot with a rifle.
Oh, okay.
But you can hunt rifles. You can hunt turkeys with a rifle.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
His shot in the back lodged into his heart, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think the bullet was lodged into his heart, but his face mask was lifted up.
Yeah.
So did he lift it up? Did someone lift it up? Did someone walk over? And you get into like, well, how many people could have been in the woods that day? How could you not find who was in the woods that day?
Wow.
Like a small ass pool of people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? In this little turkey hunting area, they've never made an arrest.
Yeah, it's real interesting. Jordan did some great work on it. Lots of interviews.
It's gotta be. I know you haven't listened to it yet, but it's gotta be that he was messing with his decoy. He was sitting there, his decoys were laying. He's sitting there dead on a tree. His decoys are out in front of him. A cigarette on the ground.
But it wasn't the brand
No one
that
collected the cigarette.
and it was. And
Why
it
don't
was
you go
not-
ahead and give Jordan's podcast a
Yeah,
listen?
exactly.
And let us know what you think. We're easy to get a hold of.
Thanks, Cal.
Love to hear about it.
But I don't think that what I'm saying is going to make people not go listen. I feel like I'm titillating over here.
Yeah.
I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like, are you like, well, now I'm not even going to bother listening now?
No, I need to find I need to know all the details.
This day and
It's
age,
real.
it's just like you go, okay, how many cell phones were in this area right now? We're going to
Sure.
start there.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah.
pretty
You know
easy.
what?
Yeah.
It'd probably be a great place to start.
Right. Yeah. Call on X, be like, how many folks were right here?
Yeah.
There was, we talked about this long ago because we were actually going to, when we started doing the Close Calls series, we tried to track this guy down, but we tried to track down a victim of an accidental shooting in a hunting incident, but he had died of cancer. Even though he almost died on the mountain one time hunting, but this guy was hunting in Arizona for black bears. Do you remember this story, Cal?
Yeah.
He's stalking a black bear with his bow. And he's right above the black bear. and all of a sudden someone from across the canyon shoots at the black bear with a rifle. Okay, so it's either weapon season. He's stalking it with a bow, and someone across the canyon shoots at the bear. The shot misses the bear and spooks the bear, and the bear spooks right up through him, right up past him. The guy shoots at it again and hits the dude in the gut.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Bear runs off. The guy lays there, and the shooter never comes over. He gets up to the top of the mountain, makes a call, starts trying to drive down, passes out, but they find him and save him. The bullet had mostly got absorbed, got absorbed by his belt buckle, but lacerated his insides all up. But he lives. So they're trying to find out who did it, and what they start doing is the investigators send out surveys to people that had bear tags in that unit. Where'd you hunt? What days did you hunt? And then did a follow-up survey. And eventually they had this guy was hunting bears that day in this area. And he was out of state, and they sent investigators to the guy's house. And when they explained to him what happened, I guess, according to the story I heard, they knew he was innocent. Because when they explained to him what happened, he vomited. Like he was that upset about it.
Wow.
The archery hunter is all camoed up and he just never saw him or something.
Seems.
Yeah.
It seems. We were going to do a thing about it, but like I said, the primary guy had passed away. Young, died young.
So, kids,
go listen to Jordan's thing.
Follow up on your shots.
And wear orange.
Oh, don't just take pokes at stuff and go, oh, doesn't look like I hit it. Walk over there, look for blood, follow up. And if it seems like too much of a pain in the ass, chances are you're shooting too far.
And if you get over there and there's a dead person laying there, make a call.
Make a call.
Call 911. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know. When you guys listen, you'll know what to think. Jordan I question this decision. Maybe Corinne, you can shed light on it. He redacts a lot of names. Why is he redacting all the names? Did that come at the recommendation of legal counsel?
I'm not sure. I could check with him. I don't know. You mean like other names of people who were investigated?
Like of the characters kind of surrounding the incident, he redacts their names.
I didn't go into that with him.
Maybe because it's unsolved. I don't know.
Could be.
Sorry, I'm not being very helpful.
No, you're not. What's it called? What'll it be called?
It's called Blood Trails. Yeah, it's called Blood Trails.
Blood Trails. So check that out. 20-year-old turkey hunting cold case. Yeah. Which seems like it'd be real solvable.
Yeah, and it's just question mark. Well, I don't want it
until our listeners hear it.
Yes. Yep.
Then one of you may know exactly who it is.
Check this out. The first time, so this year I put a thing on Instagram where some guys I know, some houndsmen I know who are commercial fishermen in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, but in the wintertime they like to chase bobcats with dogs. And, this buddy of mine sends me a video from Mackinac County in Michigan's Upper Peninsula of a lion, a mountain lion in a tree in Michigan. After that, the DNR, Department of Natural Resources, they went out and verified, like they wanted to see where it was and what happened, and they went out and verified it, right? That it was legit location, tracks, everything made sense, and there's a lion there. And this is something that people have long been saying, that there are lions in the UP. Like how people are saying there's lions all over the place. And for the longest time, 20 years ago, you had guys way outside of mountain lion territory, way outside of cougar territory, would be like, oh, I saw a mountain lion. And it was always the same thing. It was, no, you didn't. You saw an escaped pet, right? Like this idea that there's just like escaped mountain lion pets running all over the place. You never see like actual pet mountain lions, but somehow there are many. Like you're never like at your buddies and he's like, here's my pet mountain lion. But somehow there are hundreds of escaped pets, even though no one has like the actual pet. Mountain lion. Like there's a lot of dogs running around the woods. There's a lot of dogs in people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
So it all makes sense.
Mountain lions might just be better at escaping.
You got pet dogs and then you got feral dogs, but somehow it's just all feral lions, but there's no pet lions, but they're all escaped pets. Long story short, first confirmation in 100 years in the UP in Michigan, 2 mountain lion kittens. In 100 years.
Verified.
Verified.
But they haven't been seen. Yeah, verified. But then, what was it?
They haven't yet been hit by a car.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that the video of
Wonder
them
how
on little ones on the
vulnerable
side of the road?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like it's unbelievable. So probably like a while ago, one got killed in Connecticut, one showed up in Minnesota, and a lot of times this is lions coming out of the Black Hills, coming out of western Nebraska. And if you go get yourself a map, you can see how that sucker, how they're going. You can picture how they're going because they're showing up in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. So they're going like from the Black Hills across into northern Wisconsin, and then traveling. And this one that I had the video of was in the eastern UP. So traveling across the top of the UP, probably like flirting up with Ontario, whatever, going across. And it would always be the story is like juvenile males will strike out and colonize new territory. Or they'll want their own territory, and so they'll go, and presumably they go off in these weird-ass places and never find a mate. And then they kind of have they're like a genetic dead end, right? And so when you find these way out there lions that are way out of territory, there's this thing that like, oh, it's probably an escaped pet. And then if it's not that, be like, oh, it's some crazy juvenile male that wandered way outside of its range. But obviously a female went. And then you got to think, and that low density, how phenomenal must they be at finding each other?
Maybe that that female might have been impregnated in Michigan. It's like she didn't necessarily you know what I mean? Sure.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
But then regardless of how low density, how do they find each other?
Well, man. I mean, it's like you can get dropped off in the biggest wilderness ever, right? And be like, oh, here's a good way to go find game. And you strike out on that trail and you can find a boot track of somebody else who did the same thing, right? Because it's just like how predators move.
You get them on the ridge top, I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A cigarette butt and a couple 30-06 shells.
How did anybody else think of this?
Yeah. Right where I was gonna walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible to think about. But now they're there. I bet you there's a lot of guys that are pissed. There's a lot of guys that are pissed because you already have
extreme low deer densities.
Yeah, lower deer densities. You got a lot of wolf problems.
How would they be classified? Like if a breeding population gets going in Michigan, how are they going to classify them?
That's a great question. I don't know what they count them as.
Yeah, just be a non-game species right now, but I'm sure they'd try to put some sort of protection on them, or not, right? Or they make the decision that this is just not something we're going to deal with.
Yeah, because
man, I don't think you look up. Someone try to find it. Yeah. I'm guessing you can't just shoot a lion in Michigan right now.
I probably under the self-defense and defense of property rule you could.
Oh, if it was messing you up.
Or messing up your cattle.
Killing your chickens.
No.
Got you.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you were out running bobcats and you treat a lion, my guess is you can't shoot it because how are you looking up what the season is?
Well,
if it's not listed as anything, does that mean?
Yeah, we'll find out because state of Wyoming, they have game species and then they have varmints that can be shot year round without restriction.
They're classified. They're classified as an endangered species.
Yeah, you can't touch them.
So you ain't shooting them. That's probably a state endangered species, not national.
Yeah. Endangered mammals in Michigan, meaning it's illegal to hunt or harass them, which includes trying to locate their den.
My old man always had a good story. you know what a fallow deer is?
Mm-hmm.
So my dad had a spot he was hunting. This was in Illinois. He had a spot he was hunting, and there was a big arboretum near there, and they had all these like fallow deer sort of as a decoration.
A menagerie?
On this arboretum.
Wait, aren't those from overseas?
They're a Eurasian deer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
like kind of white.
Okay.
And some of the fallow deer had gotten off the arboretum and were just running around. And so my dad was calling, be like, can I shoot one of these deer or not? And at the time, like Illinois had like a wild deer. They had a deer.
Mm-hmm.
So even in your regs, it didn't say like white-tailed deer. Because like you're not what are you not trying to draw? It was just a deer. And so he called, and the best answer they would give him is like, it says a deer. If it's a deer. So he always had this picture of I should find it. He had this great grip and grin where he's got his recurve and he's got a fallow deer. And it was You know what he used to hunt, man, that was funny is and it's a good idea. He used to have a spot he'd hunt where he'd get on a highway. And at some point he'd pulled off at a rest area and got to walking around the rest area and saw a bunch of deer signs. It was like, he showed me, it was not too far from where I grew up. There's a rest area and it's all just like state land area on the highway. And then there was cornfields up above there.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get off at the rest area and park kind of like he was at the rest area, wait till the coast was clear and then slip up in the woods and sit at a tree stand at the rest area. And then get back on the highway and like go down to the next exit and sneaky little spot.
Sneaky little spot.
I see a lot of rest areas and I wonder about that. Okay, Seth, you're going hunting. We talk about that.
Yeah.
Randall hates turkeys. We talk about that. Tick prevention. I got it. My program is dialed.
What is it?
Who wrote that down? Who wrote down
I
tick
did.
prevention?
I threw that in there.
What do you do? Do you feel your program is dialed?
No, not at all. It's something I don't think about until I'm on the ground, and then I'm like, oh man, this is. I'm going to be creeping and crawling, but I'm all. Because I don't. Yeah, I don't know. All the normal things. Don't like DEET. I'm always like, I'm going to get that permethrin stuff, and
that stuff works.
I take the heavy chemical approach, and I'll tell you a little bit about my background.
Just
on
don't
it.
inhale that when you breathe it all. I mean, when you spray it all over your.
Let me tell you though, I had, okay, when my boy was 3, talk about this all the time. When my boy was 3, he had Lyme disease, developed Bell's palsy, so he developed the facial paralysis. Had a lot of problems. I had Lyme disease, and had to go through the intravenous antibiotic treatment where they put the PICC line in your heart and a fucking hose coming out of your arm, shooting those cylinders, all that shit in there every day. Had it be where couldn't ride my bike, had drawn a mountain goat tag and couldn't even hunt the tag. I couldn't go down steps without holding the handrail. Driving down the road, it messes with your joints so bad. I couldn't rest on the windowsill. I couldn't rest on the center console because it was like just too like excruciating. Okay. So all that, what I'm setting up there is like the risk of using some chemical stuff isn't as real to me as is the risk of getting tick-borne pathogens.
That's understandable.
It's not. Oddly enough, it's the way I take care of things, and like a big old DEET-filled canister that erodes through everything once deployed.
Yeah,
like that's my problem. Is like it rattles around in the back of the truck. Eventually, like the cap goes off and it sprays all over everything, and then you got holes in clothing or a whole spool of fishing line.
Yeah, I was gonna
that's
say my tackle boxes. I've had tackle boxes over the years that have
turned into melted plastic.
As a result.
yeah, I've had it warp.
Yeah.
I had one open up on a caribou hunt, and I had one open up on my phone and actually warped my phone case. Like the phone case warped.
So you're not buying the permethrin?
No, I haven't gotten to my formula yet.
Oh, you're going double formula.
I do, and it takes
That stuff doesn't sound
it takes
toxic.
discipline.
You do
It takes-
deep woods off.
I do permethrin on my clothes, and I do it like you're supposed to do it. I do it ahead of time. Like you always, like I said, it takes discipline. Do it ahead of time and let it dry. Okay, so I'm not wearing the shit wet, and that's how they recommend it. So I do all my clothes in permethrin. Then every morning, this is the painful part. This is the part you don't want to do because it's annoying. Every morning I do my ankles and deep. I do my waistline because of chiggers. I hate chiggers. I do my waistline and deep.
On your skin?
On my skin.
Whoa. All right.
I do deep. I plaster my waistline. I plaster my ankles and deep, and I got permethrin on my clothes. And I'm telling you, and I am a tick chigger magnet. I have shut that shit down.
Wow.
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Hot tip.
Me and Seth did a bunch of permethrin one time. We were watching ticks climb on us and
We
dive.
did a bunch of permethrin.
Remember that, Seth?
It was a wild
At that
time.
music festival.
When Seth and I were in Pennsylvania last fall, woodcock hunting, like our buddy's dog had hundreds of deer ticks on it, like every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using permethrin.
Same.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Nothing.
that's an area where when they do tick studies, they typically come back 100% positive.
Yeah.
For Lyme.
Oh.
Yeah, when I got it in Hudson Valley, and I think at the time they were saying that 3/4 of all ticks had the pathogen.
They found. I just read they found a tick in Montana that they believe had Lyme disease.
Ugh,
in it.
really?
Don't say that.
What kind of tick?
I'll
It
find
had
it.
to had to be a deer tick.
I'll have to find it.
What
But I
about
just
that
read
stuff
the
they
article.
give dogs? That always creeps me out.
I
Dogs
know.
seem to be totally fine, but the tick
Yeah.
goes up, bites into the dog, and then dies and drops off the dog.
It's like me and Seth's clothes.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the human version of that?
Yeah, I've thought about that. I mean, if someone could invent that for mosquitoes,
Yeah.
be a rich man.
Yeah.
Chili, how you doing? You're just sitting down there.
Yeah, people are talking.
Okay.
Are you going to turkey hunt this year, Chili?
I plan on it. Yeah, I want to go back home, back to the hills, and try to get a tagger. I think my brother applied it, so if he gets one, I'll probably go back with him.
Nice.
But that's where I'd like to go.
What's your program? Not for ticks, but just for those flowing locks you're developing. Is it like a standalone conditioner, shampoo?
Mane and tail, baby. Horse shampoo.
Really, just mane and tail all the
Yeah.
time? Yeah.
Yep.
You don't even need water with that.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you just throw it on there.
Mm-hmm.
Walk around
Murdoch's.
outside, let it dry.
He's the only guy. If you had to get a permit to have long hair, he's the only guy to issue the permit to.
Yeah. I think I've told a few people this story. I cut my hair, I think, once since working here. And I cut it, like I trimmed up the mustache, cut the hair real short,
That was beautiful. Yeah, I
probably
have a
long as
picture of that.
Randall's. And I went to the store, and Steve was sitting on the couch in the store, and he was working on his laptop. And he just slowly turns to me, looks at me, and goes, "It's a bad move, dude." And I was like, okay, I guess I'm never cutting my hair again.
Chili needs to look free. So that's the tick. Oh, I was going to bring down ticks. When we were watching, I don't know if you remember this, Seth. Me and Seth are sitting watching ticks crawl on our clothes and fall off. Like they'd pass out.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting there, and here comes a javelina. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Here comes a javelina walking along. Guess what the javelina's feeding on? I'm not kidding you, man. He is feeding on turkey shit.
Mm-hmm. Just one shit
Just
after the other.
We're just sitting there real slow. He just comes along, and every time he'd find one of the little turkey shit, he'd stop and pick it up, and he was like targeting turkey shits.
Just smacking his cheeks together. I have a video of it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, smacking his lips, eating turkey shit.
Wait, that was in Texas.
Mhm.
Did you say?
Yeah.
You guys are going back.
We
next
are.
week or week after,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm. Okay, who knows about the South Carolina turkey deal? What is this now?
I talked with some folks on this one last week. Actual, biologists in that state.
Oh, no, man, I'm looking now. I didn't know about this.
So
I just put
but
it in
here's
this direct morning.
hit.
Here's the weird thing. Okay, so this would change the regulations, or it already has changed the regulations for the 2025 season to where it would no longer be legal to shoot jakes, immature toms.
It's going to cut back on my turkey harvest.
So that puts the onus on the hunter to identify a tom that has a beard longer than 6 inches and a full tail fan.
So it's the combination, right? Because a lot of full-on gobblers don't have a 6-inch beard.
Right. Yep. And so you're like, well, why would you take that opportunity away from people? Which was my question. And this is the frustrating part is it's like, because your brain kind of goes to like, well, is it like a trophy thing? Like trying to make bigger birds, which makes no sense in
like
the
an
bird
antler
world.
point
Yeah, why don't they
Right.
ban killing longbeards?
It is the time
terrible
of year.
idea.
They're not changing the season of their turkey hunt. What they're trying to do by adding this regulation is to provide more time for those birds to breed.
Who to breed?
By making people select for the toms and pass up these other birds, they're allowing more time for breeding. Which I responded was like, well, why don't you just adjust the whole season dates?
Well, I remember Abernathy talking about this, who lives in South Carolina, and him talking about that this push-pull between starting turkey season so early, right? And guys thinking that they're starting it too early, and there's a lot of turkey biologists are like, dude, hunt turkeys as long as you want. Don't start early.
Yeah.
In some states,
Like if you steal a day up front, give them 2 days on the other end.
Right.
plenty
Yeah.
of states are doing that. you
Well,
know.
Idaho, Montana, the folks I've talked to, they're like, there's essentially no breeding going on by the time turkey season has started in Idaho or Montana. Like it's the bulk of the bell curve of the breeding is completely done.
What?
Yeah.
There's still snow on the ground. April 15th?
They're saying that the hens have been bred.
What? Really?
I'm not buying that.
Yeah. Don't. I mean,
I'm just not.
don't question
Cal's
it.
not going to
Question it all.
fight you. Cal's not going to
everything.
fight you this.
Do it. Yeah.
Man, so they're banning killing jakes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Which that like it's like not being able to kill a spike elk. Like sometimes that Jake saves the day.
Here, I understand you're trying to preserve quality of hunt. So, and like, it doesn't make any sense that you'd say, okay, I got an idea. No one can kill a longbeard. People would revolt.
You're right.
But I wonder if the objective, if your true objective was to preserve like age class breeding turkeys, if that was the true sole objective, it would you'd probably end up saying, no, shoot all the jakes you want. Don't shoot longbeards.
There's a lot more jakes
But people
around.
would freak out. I would freak out.
As we know here in Montana, if you go out opening week and you're like, God, there's a lot of Jakes around. Go back to the same spot last week of the season, you're like, oh my God, there's so many Toms around. Magically, there's so many Toms where there used to be so many Jakes.
Looks like they also outlawed fanning and
Fanning.
reaping on private.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Scotty, you can't fan and reap. No, you can't fan in Michigan or Scotty anymore after a few years ago.
No idea.
It's illegal in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
you can't do it in Pennsylvania.
So for you folks at home, what we're talking about is there is a strategy. It is at times a deadly turkey hunting strategy. Is picture yourself, you driving down the road and you come through old man Morganson's
pasture.
And lo and behold, 10 a.m. on a Monday morning, there's just a giant gobbler out there with a couple hens, and he's just strutting his ass off.
Out in the middle.
Out in the middle. You're never going to call him in. You're never going to call him over to the edge. If you crawl out there, he's going to run away. Well, what do? Well, you get a big old turkey fan, and you lay it down on your belly, and you army crawl holding that turkey fan up. And there's a high likelihood, if you play your cards right, you will just crawl right up to that turkey.
Or he'll come running straight
He'll
at
come
you.
running to you, and then you just stick your shotgun, which I have done. You actually snake your barrel through the feathers and kind of rest it on the fan. It is deadly effective. Guys are even taking it to the point. I remember there's these dudes that are all over on social media, and everybody always has a conniption, but they make a hat. A turkey fan hat.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's like a little army helmet, and they crawl around with a turkey fan hat. Now, people will look at this and bring up the very obvious point. What if someone shoots that thing?
And if you haven't brought up this point, listen to Jordan Siller's new podcast about a guy getting shot in the turkey woods.
It's not only deadly for the turkey.
Yeah. And then you like in Wyoming, you can hunt turkeys with a rifle. Can you still hunt them with a rifle in Florida? I remember they tried to get rid of it for a while. It could be, was it Abernathy that got we've had a couple guys on that got shot hunting turkeys.
Oh, no.
I think Abernathy got shot hunting turkeys.
I know guys that in Pennsylvania got shot.
Abernathy, he lifted his foot up to rest it on a stump, and the guy shot his leg.
Ooh,
I think it was Abernathy. And then the guy said in interviewing his shooter, he said, "Man, when you put your leg up on that stump, it looked just like a Tom going into strut."
Guy's got some vision problems.
Wow. I wonder if there's been any sort of studies done on like or trying to figure out what it is. It like triggers something in their brain that like takes over a turkey's body and mind
when he sees that.
When he sees
just
that
the competition, man. I mean, that's what it's got to
Like
be.
a mirage?
Well,
It's
when
the fluoresce too, man.
they are, I don't think they're ever like more exposed than when they're in strut, right? So, they completely blind themselves from having almost 360-degree vision,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right?
It's a great chance to lift your gun up.
So that
when he turns, because he can't see you.
Yeah. But outside of that, so it's basically signaling to all other birds. Not only is it A-OK, but there's like some hot hen action over here too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
you might be in a fight mood.
I think that's the combination of things, right? It's like it's a signal that it's totally safe, no predators around, and something really good's happening. And that's like the combination.
They just can't resist it.
Yeah.
I was deer hunting in Idaho one time, and it was a limited.
Damn sure weren't turkey hunting.
No, that's true. That's true. But it was a limited bull elk unit, and we actually met a tag holder earlier that day. They were hunting down the ridge from us, and we found a big bull, and we went and told him, hey, there's this bull over here, and we sort of got set up to watch the bull, and they popped out one of those like cow elk foldable decoys. Walked straight to the thing. It was like on a big open hillside. We were on a big open hillside, and there's a little ridge between us. They walked straight towards that bull until they could get out of sight, and then put the cow decoy down and shot the bull. And I've never been more nervous in my life.
That someone was going to fill a cow tag on him.
Yeah, and I don't think there were any cow tags. Like I kind of asked them about it. I was like, are you sure there's not cow tags here? And are you sure that someone's not going to mistake a branch behind you or anything for an antler? Like, I just don't trust other people out there. But I've always been curious about it because it worked real well.
Yeah.
But it was kind of put the ice in my veins a little bit.
Yeah.
Reaping is one of those things I would never send my kid out to do.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like, because just picture the news article.
Yeah, it's just additional risk.
Risk versus reward.
Yeah. And you'd be like, man, people would be mad at you. He did what? So you already couldn't in South Carolina in public. Now you can't on private. I think this is going to be my prediction when I crystal ball this. This is going to be more and more and more and more common.
Yeah, I agree.
In the meantime, I would advise, I don't want to blame the victim here. In the meantime, I would advise people as we head out into the turkey woods this spring, just don't shoot at random tail fans.
Or random movement.
Yeah. Kind of one of the first rules of gun safety.
Yeah. Think about it a minute before shooting at fans, because it might be a reaper.
Maybe think about it before you reap too.
Yeah.
It's just not,
especially in the public.
It's just not that smart.
They give a definition. Fanning or reaping is the practice of stalking a wild turkey while hiding behind a decoy or tail fan or an image or likeness of a tail fan applied to any material. I would carry. I kind of quit. I didn't really carry it last year. I used to carry in my turkey vest. I carried a fan.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cut a fan right, there's a way to cut it off the turkey where you can fold it out like a pack of cards and it'll fold up real nice. I would lay it out, and I had a little handle even. I had like a formal little handle. And I had a way you could open it up, and I had 2 wing nuts on a handle. So when you put the bolts, these 2 little bolts through the fan, it would hold the fan open. Throw a couple wing nuts on there, and it was meant to be my crawler around her. Never got shot.
But you've stopped carrying it.
I did. I did. Yeah. Not wanting to get shot. And then also, I feel like some of the places I hunt, you can't do it. You can still do it in Montana, though.
Yeah. Can.
Texas. Here's a Texas turkey hunting rule. This isn't terribly earth-shattering. Hunters must report harvests within 24 hours for all wild turkeys in all counties. What did it used to be?
I don't think you had a report.
Yeah,
I
you
just
did.
found that this morning.
No,
Yeah.
no, you had to report.
Sorry.
I think you had to report.
Maybe they shortened the time. When I went to the state website, I didn't see what it was before.
Are they collecting data with that, or they just want to know if you shot one?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
I think it's absolutely a
What was it
way
before?
to see how many birds got swatted that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever recall
Yeah, what it was.
submitting a report for killing a turkey in Texas.
Here's a Florida rule coming up. Or Florida. This is a here. Cal, talk about this Florida deal.
What's the Florida deal?
The no NRs the first 3 days of the season.
Oh, no non-residents for turkey.
3 days.
So this is a good example of states watching other states do stuff. And I think South Dakota was the first one to be like, the opening week of pheasant is for resident only.
Yep.
Unless you have private property access, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah. So all the public stuff is off limits to non-residents. And I know Montana actually has a bill where they're considering a version of that as well. North Dakota just went that way, I think, and that's for upland bird species. But here's a version of it. First one that I'm aware of in the turkey hunting world. But yeah, give all the residents first crack at those toms that really like to come out and strut and rub it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that's anything to get up in arms about.
I can't. I mean, I don't. As a Florida non-resident, I don't like it.
Right.
But I have to be honest about why I don't like it because it's inconvenient to me.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
it's
potentially inconvenient to me.
it's-
But that's not how you can't use that as the way to make rules.
it's 3 days of a 5-week season. Like, I think it's okay to give residents a little bone there.
A guy sent me this article and he's like, "Is it the end of turkey hunting in Florida?" You know, it's a bummer. I mean, if you're a non-resident, it's a bummer. But I mean, like, dude, if I was going to make a list of every advantage residents have over non-residents, I couldn't find a piece of paper long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you'd have to write it out on toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean, it does not get me all up in a tissy, but
man, if I was a resident, I'd be licking my
your
lips. Dude, if they came in this state and said, "Hey, you know what? From now on, first 3 days of elk season are residents only. First 3 days of deer season, residents only." Anything, I'd be like, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Because with a lot of hunting rules, it winds up being that, you know, I don't know if it makes sense. I've always thought there's some things that are like moral, you know, and there's some things that don't have a moral component. They just have it's just like a strategic component. Like you can't get morally upset about it. I don't view this as a moral thing. This is just like a luck or not. It's like lucky or not lucky. It's unlucky for non-residents.
I think, doesn't Florida cap non-resident turkey tax at like 10%?
I have no idea.
I think they might.
Is it like the way Montana caps non-residents?
Well, hard to say.
With the caps and quotation
With the
marks.
caps and quotations, yeah. I have no idea.
What do you mean by the caps and quotation?
Well, there's this idea that the math is as simple as it sounds. Of like, well, yeah, there can only be 10% of all tags going to non-residents
Per region.
but it's per opportunity.
What? What's that mean?
It means that for every opportunity in that reg book, does, cows, bulls, bucks, there's 10% of every opportunity available to non-residents. And then if there's leftover opportunities, they're open to whoever wants those leftover opportunities.
And there's certain categories of tags available to non-residents that don't count against that 10%. Like if you have like the Come Home to Hunt program.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, or the Montana, I think they call it Montana Native. So if you're born in Montana but live out of state, that doesn't count. I think like the college students that are here, like they've created all these carve outs that don't count against that 10% number.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure what happens if you are specific. Yeah, if you're specifically going with an outfitter, I'm not sure where that lands either. But
yeah, it's not a hard cap.
Yeah, yeah, and then like a state like Idaho, who's like same kind of rules, right? There's like a whole landowner pool and a whole outfitter pool, and the math doesn't ever really work in the way that we think it does. Kind of like the national debt.
There is Cal. We're gonna have you talk about another one in a minute. We're jumping around from state to state. Do we want to talk about the California thing, or is it too complicated?
I think we should find out what happened.
It's pretty easy. So marine protected areas, okay, of which many exist in the state of California, with various states of protections within an MPA, marine protected area, going from, you can still do fishing and recreation to you can't have a boat in there type of spectrum, right?
Yep.
And no take of wildlife.
And do they move around, right? Like they open one, close it, open one, close
well, that's an idea that started at the beginning of the MPA idea. Now we're in the decadal review period of time. And that's where like the crazy politics come in, because it started as this like, oh, this is going to get done really quick, and there's only a couple of people on the Marine Fisheries Commission that are going to take care of the whole thing. And people, once they started to learn what was at stake and all the proposals to expand MPAs and have like the most serious restrictions, like no boating, no fishing, then they were like, oh, no, this is a big deal. So now the amount of people paying attention is a lot larger. So it's like the full Marine Fisheries Commission versus just two members of the commission. And yeah, it's a huge access, just flat out access to the ocean issue. And it's a huge access to fishing and food issue too. And it runs the gamut of like, are we protecting the visual, the property values of very wealthy homeowners? Are we doing so at the degradation of marginalized communities' ability to go fish? There's all sorts of things that this gets into. But where we're at right now is you can still comment on MPAs. There's a lot of petitions out there, and it is not going to get solved anytime real soon, but you need to be aware that a lot of access and fishing opportunity, sometimes even like surfing opportunity, is at stake right now in the state of California. I went and dove a walk-in spot last year out of Big Sur, and it was freaking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
And fairly, I mean, I'm sure some people would think it's fairly dangerous. Like it's right next to like a juvenile white shark area, and really cool spot. But that spot that nobody was down there using except for us would be a place that would be closed to expand a marine protected area.
Really?
So basically all you could do is walk up and down the beach and nothing else?
With like the most extreme level of MPA.
Like public access beaches.
Right. Yeah.
I think they should ban everything but fishing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing is there's all sorts of arguments here of like, well, we want to protect areas for kelp because the kelp forests have been in such crazy decline. But there's no evidence to suggest that MPAs have helped kelp at all. The fishing argument, it's fishing regulations, not necessarily MPAs that are going to have a factor in the health of your fishery. So it's really interesting, but it is like your public opportunity that's at stake there. So you need to get engaged. And like California BHA has been really good on this, as well as what is Matt Bond's allwaters.org. Those folks have been really good on this, and they're putting out great information, and they're getting people to all of these meetings. So connect with one of those groups, and learn more and see where you fit in.
Who are the people that are pushing for it?
I'm going to hit you with a bunch of quotes. Ready? This is all quotes from the meeting. One of the meetings about this Laguna Beach expansion. Someone says, the current MPA in Laguna is a 10-mile fishing closure. Wow. 10-mile fishing closure. So they already got a 10-mile closure. This guy's saying at the meeting, he says, the current MPA in Laguna is a 10-mile fishing closure, significantly impacting our fishing area, not just for us, but for all local fishing boats as well as lobster fishermen. While we have all supported the existing MPA in Laguna Beach and have adapted to that closure over time, we remain opposed to any further expansion. And really, we were very shocked to even see this proposal at all. Someone in favor of it says, this extension is a crucial step towards strengthening marine protection, preserving biodiversity, and ensuring the long-term health of our coastal ecosystems. Another guy had this to say, we just want to make it simple for people that this is a no fishing zone. There's plenty of other places to fish. That's a guy at the meeting. Another guy at the meeting. We'd like to have one little section of coastline where we can still enjoy ourselves, go fish and catch stuff and dive and have a good time.
Yeah, because the proposed extension would make Laguna Beach's southern coast completely off limits to fishing.
Another guy at the meeting. Don't take another healthy thing away from us, and don't take food out of people's mouths.
And
damn it.
So
Compelling.
like that quote of like, oh, there's plenty other places to fish, right? Like that's a great example of it's like, well, are those places available to who? Just folks with a big fancy boat? And it's this coastal access component that people are really, because there's so many people go out and fish on the piers, but that type of fishing's not necessarily for everybody, right? And yeah, so lots of arguments here, and they've made a lot of good like grassroots steps into making sure a lot of these other communities with a vested interest in fishing and public access are actually getting a seat at the table, which is great.
Oh, can we return for a minute to this this turkey thing?
The South Carolina one?
Sorry, the Florida deal.
Oh, yeah.
Proposed draft rule language. Okay. So the point of this was that you can let your voice be heard. And you could here's an email address, commissioners@myfwc.com. But would you, this is just a question, would you feel funny as a dude from another state writing the wildlife commissioners in Florida giving your 2 cents? Anybody can take the survey.
There you go.
So there's someone drafted a note here. So a guy that wrote us into us drafted a way. Here's some things you could say in voicing your concerns. You could talk about wild turkey populations in Florida are not in jeopardy. Okay. Talk Talk about there's no concern for the resource. Hunter satisfaction was reported as good or excellent by 63% of surveyed participants. In 2023, non-residents funded over half of all turkey-related license costs. But they're only 22% of participating hunters. Okay, so half of the funding for licenses came from 22% of the hunters. And residents are already gobbling up 90% of special turkey hunt opportunities.
Gobbling up?
Oh, that was good.
Mm.
God, did I just make that up? I did make that up. I didn't even mean to.
Something's in the air.
Spring thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Norovirus.
I've had that. I don't think I have that right now.
You
So, yeah, you can still let your voice be heard, but I would feel very funny writing in, being like, because you're kind of like, like all your cards are on the table. You're like, hey, as a non-resident, here's what I think. Like, how many dudes from out of state are writing in to say, I think this sounds like a fantastic idea.
I think the first 3 days should be for non-residents.
Yeah, I got a counter proposal. How about I just get to hunt for 3 days? Yeah. Cal, what's Habitat Montana? What's up with that? This is nothing to do with turkeys.
Hey, yeah, so basically, Habitat Montana is a big fund.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yes, sir.
Brody, why'd you dump all the weeds out?
I didn't dump that
Can
out.
you pass it over
Just
here?
fell out.
I would love to have some more.
Here, serve it up on that.
Steve, will you rub your hands all over that stuff and then pass it?
I mean, I was
I'm not
already
contagious,
sick,
man.
so we're just passing it back.
I was contagious a long
It's
time
good
ago.
on that salmon as a little seasoning. Here, Corinne.
Oh, thanks, Brody. Gave me the scraps from the table. That's okay.
Okay, sorry. Habitat Montana.
Yeah. Darn it, where's the other thing here? Anyway, Habitat Montana is a habitat fund, right? It's set aside specifically to address our like state parks maintenance, funding for habitat work that can address like non-game species specifically. So it's nice to have that because then, your hunter angler dollars, you're like, oh yeah, that's just going to go more towards game species. And access easements as well, right? So like getting habitat easements on working timberlands or agriculture ground so it doesn't get developed and gobbled up and turned into something non-wildlife producing. This is something in 2020, I think we voted on. It's really the reason that there's like recreational marijuana sales in Montana because they tied the taxes associated with the sale of recreational marijuana to this big outdoor habitat recreation fund called Habitat Montana.
Got it.
It got whittled away at a little bit because obviously people were like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of weed money out there we could use for all sorts of things.
Okay.
So the last legislative session, some cash got carved out of it. And now we have House Bill 307. That's happening right now. It's in play right now in the state of Montana.
Just looking to shit can the whole thing.
It would basically suck, Phil, what's that great movie that we used to laugh about? The I take a straw and I there you go.
One of the best movies ever.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen?
I drink it up. Drink your milk.
I'm a weed man.
Yeah,
My son associate JW.
there's like a spoof on it called "There Will Be Bud."
Yeah.
They do the whole trailer on a campus. And it's all like a guy trying to gobble up the weed market on a campus. And he's like, I clear your bong rip.
Which is very appropriate because we're dealing with weed money here, right? So anyway, voters of Montana came together, said this is what we want, got whittled away last session, and now in this session, it's going, if HB 307 were to pass, it would remove this funding.
To what end? To use it for something different?
To use it for something different, which doesn't really we don't even need to talk about because the state's operating at a surplus right now. So there's lots of money that could be used. This is money that's earmarked for habitat. And then when you put it in the context of what's happening with the federal government right now, if the funding freezes and the fact that there is a huge question mark around federal funding that is typically available for habitat work, like this state fund is very important.
Yeah.
We're seeing a huge increase in the population here in Montana and a huge increase of the overall population that is using state lands.
And weed.
And weed, apparently. Yeah. So we need it.
I was trying to explain a little bit this the other day to someone. We were having a conversation about state funding mechanisms, and I'm like, with the feds kind of setting the clock back to 1895 in terms of attitude towards natural resources, this shit's going to become even more important.
More important, and we're just seeing increased use too. So, it's a bummer that some folks think that this is a good idea right now. Recent polling data says 71% of Montana households use public lands and trails, and this is our only state funding mechanism set aside to address this stuff. And it's been wildly successful the way it's been used so far. We completely eliminated the state parks maintenance backlog out of this fund. So instead of your hunting and angling dollars going to things that probably folks in this room don't use quite as much as the retirees out there, we kind of like the fact that our hunting and angling dollars are addressing the things that we want, not some of the things that are being addressed in this Habitat for Montana Fund.
You know what would be helpful to a citizen such as myself is whenever you see a proposal, we're always covering proposals. There should be a way that there should be a graphic that goes with proposals, and it'd be like the fire risk. Because the other day, so that some gal from Florida introduces legislation to put Trump on Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
So what it would be is that graphic would be there, and the graphic would be at all the way to the left, meaning this will never happen. Do you know what I mean? It's
right.
Yeah.
It's someone just doing a thing to, in that case, it's just someone being a sycophant, right? They're doing a gesture hey, look at me, look how loyal I am, and it's not serious. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not serious.
It's a lot of PETA's work.
Yeah. PETA stuff yeah.
Here's a billboard.
Here's a bill to ban people from being able to say you got your cart before the horse or whatever, to ban any kind of animal expression. So if you could just be at home and see a bill and it would just tell you, or there's an app that you could scan, you could take a photo of legal language and the app would be this is a not thing. This is a non-thing. Yes. It's a gesture. It's someone trying to make headlines.
Yeah, don't burn your brain thinking about this too hard.
It happens on both sides that someone will introduce some sort of frivolous legislation, and then you see a bunch of headlines about it because the people on the other side want to bash that idea publicly. And it's let's just pay attention to more serious things.
Right, it just sucks the bandwidth out of it. Yeah.
And then that's when you hear people be now they're trying to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's PETA does stuff just to get, PETA does things just to egg on.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully get a headline somewhere.
To egg people on.
Yeah.
And so they'll do a thing this has zero chance in hell, but they'll do it because all of a sudden there they are in the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that Mount Rushmore thing. What's funny? I looked up and I was trying to picture Mount Rushmore. I was would you put it on the right, looker's right or looker's left? But geologists say you can't
There's not a lot
Yeah, I don't
of
think
space.
there's any room.
There's no like no. The rock's not suitable. They
Yeah.
kind of use. Someone's got to go.
This is what I was looking for, just so folks know it's not just here in Montana. Like if you recreate Montana, you live here, write in, ask your state representative to vote no, or even a no vote, but to vote no on HB 307. We need dedicated habitat funding. It's the only thing that we have right now. But over in Wisconsin, there's a similar bill that would basically stop the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program, which was created in 1989. People are really organized and aware of this one, including Ducks Unlimited, Pheasants Forever, the Safari Club, have all come together to make sure the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program is renewed. And there's some lawmakers over there that are saying that they're going to stop it because it's just funding that they don't think should exist. But
is there examples in other states where the like funds like these weed tax funds or like lottery sales where that were dedicated towards public lands, wildlife, etc., where they've been raided and put elsewhere?
Oh, I think there's a ton of examples.
Yeah.
I mean,
Security.
right? Like look at the state of Missouri. Missouri is considered to have like a phenomenal wildlife funding mechanism because they have an actual state tax, right?
Yeah.
But literally the year after that tax was implemented, there were people trying to shut that thing down. And every year, people attempt to divert funds from, what many people consider to be like one of the best wildlife programs in the U.S. But another one, New Mexico has like a sovereign wealth fund that's taxes out of energy, which is a fund that renews itself and grows. And then that funding basically secures or is secure for like their school programs. So that'd be a version of what this Habitat for Montana fund is that is successful. So
That's baked into the Restoration Wildlife Act or the Pittman-Robertson Fund. They baked into it language. And it's called like so-and-so's 20 words or something like that, right? There's like a name for it. Where it's... excuse me. that it's like it's written into the rule that you can't pillage it.
Yeah.
Because anytime someone sees a little pot of money, they want to go get it.
And I'm not sure about Missouri, but like at least in Montana, I mean, that was part of that's like what people voted on. Like, we're going to do weed, but the weed money's going to go here. And I believe that the same is true of the sales tax in Missouri, is that like, wasn't it a public initiative?
total bipartisan.
Yeah. And it's like, this is part of the deal. And then as soon as people get on the same page, somebody else is trying to do the run around behind the back and spend that money elsewhere.
Yeah, I've always been like all this legalizing weed rules, I could give a shit. I don't know what was so bad about hiding in the bushes. But I'm like, well, yeah, man, if you're going to use it for conservation money, then
it's a lot of
sure,
money.
go get high.
It's a lot of money.
Fry your brain.
Is your theory still hold true, like about Democratic and Republican states, like legalization?
That legalizing weed is yeah. Like the lefty states were quicker to legalize weed, of course.
I'm just wondering.
Well, I mean, isn't that just like accepted as reality?
I know, but we kind of showed that it wasn't necessarily that the case.
Well, I think over time, perhaps, but
Wyoming's still holding strong, I believe.
They don't want you smoking weed?
I believe so. I'm out over my skis here.
I drink it up.
Yeah. Who else has got something?
Someone's got to take me turkey hunting this season. That's my thing.
I gotta see if I'm still alive.
I want everybody to know that Corinne's the only person in the office who'll just we have like internal communication thing called Slack, and she'll just put out there, does anybody have any pheasant spots they want to give me? The thing
She
is,
just puts
I'm a
it.
girl.
She just
You
puts
guys
it right
treat
out.
me
Yeah.
nicer than the guys.
I know. The thing is, like, she absolutely
And I'll
knows
keep it
it's not an
secret.
appropriate question.
See,
But she doesn't care either.
I
It's
at
like
least-
somebody will break.
I put on the charade of just going, well, yeah, never killed a turkey. Just putting that out there.
Just throw it out there.
But I don't, then follow up with the direct ask. Just sort of seed that thought.
Don't you have some special gun you're going to use for your first turkey?
If I can get it back from the gunsmith.
Great
Oh,
big one.
Yeah, when you were talking, I was only half listening when you were,
Yeah.
because I wanted to tease you about shooting flintlocks.
Sure.
What is the gun you're making?
It's a very silly story, but it's like a German imported version of a submachine gun that's civilian legal. So it's got a 16-inch barrel, and the lower unit is different. So you can get a trigger group from the real deal, make some modifications, mill some things, replace some parts, slap it in there, and then you got a little
little what?
a little bullet hose.
And it's fully automatic.
No, it's just it resembles the real thing.
We were talking about
I
this
thought you were
earlier.
breaking a law for a minute.
No. This is all above board.
That's a big law to break.
Yeah. This is very self-conscious, but this is just
And you're going to use that machine gun for turkeys?
no. It's just a silly little fun project that I'll probably end up selling as soon as I finish it.
This is one.
Cal could give a shit about it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. It's like,
I've never
that's
seen
neat.
Cal.
He's got more stuff to read.
I've never seen Cal less interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
something.
I would have more interest in talking about rewiring a camper trailer that's currently sitting in your barn.
We can do that.
Yeah, that's more fun to me. Yeah, it's like, oh, you're buying parts and putting them together. That's cool.
I couldn't believe how little he cared about what you were talking about.
I think if you shot this thing, you would care more
Hitting
about
Robertson dollars, great. I love it.
You know what?
It's gonna be wildly
what I was feeling? Cal was feeling complete indifference.
Yeah.
What I was feeling is little out of the loop.
Yeah. No, it's
To be like that I'm like, am I like, how could I not know what he's talking about?
it's sort of
And I was getting a little jealous.
a very niche gun subculture. I've always been curious about these.
When you say these, what do you mean?
It's
Just tell them what it is.
It's an HK USC, and the UMP is the original sort of law enforcement version, but you can do these modifications and put a folding stock on it. And
What's Miss Williams think about
SBR it.
all this?
She thinks it's really stupid.
Yeah. How much are you going to have into this?
Let's just keep that.
That's not a great question.
Yeah, that's all. Those are all imaginary numbers. You know,
What you should ask is how much does he stand to make off of this once he completes his little build?
How much are you going to make, Randall?
I don't know. I think it'll be more than I put into it.
So this is like a for-profit. You're like a gun dealer.
No,
I feel like we're using terms here that have certain legal implications. So
I think
He's a custom gun dealer.
I'm trying to convince Randall to never sell guns. Don't sell guns. I'm in
Yeah.
that camp.
I always regret it when I do. No, that's not true. I used to, but now I don't.
yeah, I've got a whole. I mean, sometimes I play a game with my buddy where we try to name every gun that we've bought and sold, and we have a spreadsheet going, but it's still incomplete because we can't get there. Just a weird hobby, you know. There's some guys that are like really into cars.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys that are really into stamps. But this will be fun. I'll have the little project, and then I can use it as a little plinker at the range for a little while, and then maybe it goes down the road. Maybe I
think you should keep it.
Maybe I hang on to it.
Yeah.
Do
you want to keep going?
For the record, I didn't bring this up, Cal.
No, that's true. I brought it up.
I've tried to change the subject several times.
All right,
You do seem like you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it's one of those things that I'd sort of do compulsively, and I think if I were better able to control my impulses, I'd probably make more practical decisions with the guns that I buy and sell. But you know, that's just me, and something that I live with every day. When I look at myself in the mirror, I don't always like what I see.
too hard on yourself.
Cal, go ahead. What were you going to say when you got bored with Randall?
Senate Joint Resolution 25-009, protection of Colorado's public lands. So this just happened yesterday. We're very timely, right? But it is a bipartisan, two Democrats, 2 Republicans in the state of Colorado, pushed through SJR 25-009, which is a joint resolution that says Colorado will not support the sale or privatization or transfer of the 22 million acres of public land in the state of Colorado. So this is in response to a bunch of the stuff that we've been covering over the last couple of months. Utah's lawsuit, which is going to be resubmitted here pretty quick.
No, really?
Yeah. So great proactive move from the state of Colorado. Again, they have 22 million acres of federally managed land in that state, and saying that they're against sale or transfer of public lands, which is great news for folks who like to go outside and do stuff in a free America.
And so with my little fire chart showing likelihood of advancing, where does this one fit?
This one's through.
It's through.
In the state of Colorado, yeah.
Also in Colorado, that one we were talking about where they were going to change the language of how hunting would be used.
May and shall.
That got tabled, so it's dead for the year. So
You know what? I figured I had that pegged as a low, when I developed my app, it'll be like a low probability.
Yeah.
That seemed like a gesture. That seemed like grandstanding.
Mm-hmm. But every now and then there's a dry, windy day, like figuratively speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Did you like that?
I really did. I got a gun build going on right now too. Steve, I finally sent you that guy's info.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not going to talk about him on this show because I don't want to get him backed up too much with gun orders.
Because you got to work on your guns.
This is
my new flintlock.
Flintlock. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying names. I'm
Steve
just saying
wants
rifle.
percussion cap. I'm going to go with the flintlock.
That's weak shit.
Bullshit. Let me tell you what I want. I did a call out on this, and I'm going to do another call out on it. I want a single trigger, percussion cap, tack driver.
without the set trigger, hair trigger deal.
I know a company.
Single trigger.
You just want like a 3-pound trigger.
I want a 3-pound trigger. I don't want that stupid second trigger on there. Just percussion cap, single trigger, but a tack driver. And I'm willing to pay.
Yeah. I have yet to participate. I guess we did do like where the hell were we? Nebraska or Iowa or someplace trying to hunt things with muzzle loaders.
Yeah, those were modern inlines. So
right.
Those
I like those things.
So that's the only thing I have. Plus we shot Sika deer a gajillion years ago.
Inlines.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did that with. You didn't even have a scope on yours.
No.
Those things was come over there shooting away across the marsh, just leveling them.
Those things come with scopes. Anyway, real excited. I've yet to participate in Montana's heritage season. Well, she's hanging with me.
Come here, honey.
Yeah. So I'm doing the sensible thing and building up a rifle that is going to be super awesome, so I can go effectively lay the smack down this coming heritage season with whatever tags I have left in my pocket.
What's going on?
Single trigger.
Go ahead.
50 cal. Single trigger. 50 cal. 3-pound pole. Percussion cap.
I'm a percussion
I don't
cap
care
man now.
That's like
if
the
it
old,
looks old timey. It doesn't need to look old timey. It just it's Montana legal.
That's like the old
Barely legal.
the TC Pennsylvania Hunter. That's exactly what you're looking for.
Single trigger percussion.
Yeah.
Now with percussion caps, you still got to walk around with a plastic bag
not a
over the
Pennsylvania
top.
Hunter if it's percussion because you can't use it in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can only use flintlock
Yeah.
edition.
Well, listen, it's a model that Thompson Center made. All the ones I've ever seen have been flintlocks, but they make them in, or they used to. They don't make them anymore.
Is it still available? Single trigger percussion?
You'd probably have to find one somewhere. I don't know. TC's getting fired back up again, so maybe they're going to start making them.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know something interesting that happened to me and Dr.
up.
Randall? 2 things. When we were in Wyoming, we're about ready to wrap up, Phil.
Yeah,
That's great.
Put your hand on the switch there.
When we were in Wyoming, we went to these archaeologists' office.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that happened, the minute we walked in the door, I don't know if you remember this, Randall. We walk into an archaeologist office, and immediately I look and there's a giant dinosaur bone on the floor.
Yeah.
Like a giant femur of a dinosaur. And I said something to the effect of, "Good Lord, what's that?" And he said, "That's a rock." And I said, "Oh, I thought it was a dinosaur bone." And he said, "That's what the guy that gave it to me thought it was." And he offered it to us.
Yeah, he said, if you want to get it out of here, it's all yours.
But here's the interesting part. These guys are doing an excavation of Fort Bonneville. So like an 1830s mountain man site.
Mm-hmm.
And they're showing us just a little like scraps of metal. I mean, there's not much there. Like you can tell that metal was coveted. Like nothing gets thrown away. But a bunch of little old, but what would have been very brand new is a bunch of percussion caps that came off this site.
And they look
just like a...
Yeah.
Really?
Look like
dude,
small
they
rifle
look just
primer.
like a little, just like a percussion cap. And there's- I don't-
Were they fired or
Yeah,
unfired?
fired percussion caps.
Yeah.
Fired percussion caps.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, so you're looking at...
In the infancy of...
It would have been cutting edge technology.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Was it the Hawken brothers that came out with percussion caps?
No.
No?
I wonder
No.
if those percussion caps worked.
Oh, they definitely did, man. They definitely did.
Well, how many of them work to not work ratio? That's what I'm interested
Oh, like
in.
what was the...
Yeah.
How often did you have a misfire? I can't say.
Yeah. That hunt that the Nebraska or whatever late season deal that we did, finally, deer steps out. Oh, a little too far. Deer steps out. Oh, a little too far. Oh, this one's on the right track. Comes out. Perfect broadside. Tip. I'm like, jack another cap in there. Tip.
Bad primers.
Another tip. Little puffs of smoke and...
Off percussions.
Yeah, off percussion caps. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why you're going to the flintlock.
Exactly. Well, and the other reason I'm going with the flintlock too is if it, for whatever reason, is something that I do not like and can't accommodate, I can always go to a percussion cap with that same rifle.
Yeah, just put
Like change the lock
a
out.
different lock
Yeah.
on it.
You ever think about getting yourself a matchlock?
No.
That old kind where you had to light a fire?
Fusey?
Yeah.
Didn't they call them fusies?
Yeah.
A wheel lock?
Yeah. All right. Everybody good? Anybody got anything else to say? Turkey week.
Good luck, turkey hunting
Oh,
out
do
there.
you have any goals for your week of vacation that's coming up?
I need to recuperate. We're going to spearfish a bunch, but I'm worried about, I just don't have any energy right now.
Right.
So I'm worried about that.
Do you have any species goals?
No. Take what I can get. I packed my fillet knife, though, I can tell you that.
Don't want to be a fish on that reef.
Pack my knife. I gotta get better. My kid's raring to go. He's gonna be very irritated that I'm not. That I need a day. I need a recuperation day or two when I get there.
Did he get that new GoPro?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, he did.
And he's got like
I
a
knew
little
it.
payment
He's
plan.
gonna-
He did.
the
I
interest?
bankrolled the purchase.
Did his
He
sister
had
get
$100
the
that he
old
kicked
one?
in. I made him make a chart. So for the next 8 months, he owes me $30 a month.
Interest or no?
Interest
I
free.
didn't hit him up with that.
Really? No juice?
Rates
Yeah.
are tough.
Yeah. Parenting's dead.
So I got that chart in my office, and
Okay.
he's $30 a month. Payment
You
plan.
should build one with like general credit card interest rates and be
I
like,
should,
here's
man.
what
Yeah.
it could
Just
be.
so that he
Yeah.
gets
It's a variable.
put
No.
in, you know?
I wasn't thinking about it, milking it out of him.
Is Ro getting the old camera? She gonna mess
He
around with
says part of what his plan is to sell the old one to
Oh.
get some of his payment
it? I'm
plans.
telling you,
See?
he's got a mind.
He's a
on
wheeler
him.
and
He
dealer.
knows-
Yeah, exactly.
He's like Randall. He's a wheeler and dealer.
One
He should
in, one out.
accompany- He should accompany Randall to the estate sales, and then maybe they can buy stuff and resell stuff. And
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him out there being like, the more I talk about this, I don't even think I want to sell this. It's probably better than the new one. But I suppose I could let it go.
All right, this might be my last show.
It's been fun. Thanks for
Been a good
having
run.
me.
That's a good run. What number is this, Corinne?
If I die,
oh wow, we're at 600.
670 something.
oh really?
Wow,
Can you
yeah.
believe that?
Oh my gosh.
If I die, I
Oh,
want
don't
everybody to
talk
know.
like
Thanks for
that.
listening.
Can I have all your shit?
Fast to the dress.
Yeah. And since Randall knows his, Randall, you're in charge of the estate sale.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to fight Jimmy
Everything-
for it.
I know.
I've got the app on my phone. It'll be real smooth.
We'll auction everything off, and we'll get $1 bajillion for conservation.
Randall sent me a
Good land
picture.
access.
Randall, he was showing me about an estate sale the other day, and then he sent me a picture. There's two things at the estate sale that didn't sell, and it was a box of empty DVD cases
Yep.
and some disposable urine collection devices. Everything else cleared out.
Yep. I got a box of bullets for real steel and a nice digital scale with my name on it.
Peace out.
Thanks for
everybody.
joining.